Hey everybody, Michael here from Replica Airguns, and I've got a tabletop video for you today. Well, kind of. I'm not doing this gun on the table like I usually do for the pistols. Some of these longer guns, the rifles, are a bit hard to do that. You just don't get to see them all in the picture. I just can't zoom that far out on the table. So I'm going to do this here. It's going to be a little bit more disjointed because I can't edit as much out, or I could, but it's going to be choppy. So we'll just plug away. Now this is going to be the tabletop review, so specifications, details, I'll get in close and show you it a little bit as much as I can. No shooting in this video because that'll happen later this week. This is the only gun I'm reviewing this week, so I'm going to do tabletop and field test shooting video in the same week. So stay posted for that, coming out later on. This is the junior version, so it's the Barra 1866 Junior Dual Ammo Pump Cowboy Air Rifle. Now there's a couple other versions. So there's a non-junior version that shoots up to 800 feet per second, and it's multi-pump, so up to 10 pumps. This one is the junior version, so it's a single pump. At least that's what they say. They say don't pump it over one time, and it's supposed to shoot up to 350 FPS with pellets or BBs. I'm not sure. When I do the field test, we'll find out. And then there's a shell loading 1866 from Barra, which is a CO2 gun. It's not a compressed air or pneumatic pressurized system like a multi-pump or single pump. That's a CO2 version, shell ejecting, actual lever, however you want to say that. This one's a little different. This is like a pumper, right? It looks like a lever action, but when you pull it out, you can see here you've got this guy. This is for actually pumping it, and I'll show you that in a second when we get into it. But yeah, it's an interesting gun. It's a mostly plastic gun. The barrel is metal, and I'll talk more about that. So barrel and rear sight is metal. Mostly everything else is going to be plastic. In terms of the non-junior version, I understand that the cocking mechanism is actually metal. So it's a little bit heavier construction because you're going to be pumping it a little bit harder. So that said, let's get into the specifications of this air gun. So again, it's available in our, I haven't said it yet, but it's available in our online Canada store and US store of replicairguns.ca for Canada, replicairguns.us for the US. I'll put links in the description for you to find it there. And at this time, again, no field test yet, but that is coming. So I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm going to tell you right now, it says you can only pump it once. I might pump it 3 times just to see if it even makes a difference. It says not to do it, so don't do it. I take the risks for you, okay, so that you don't have to. All right, let's get into the specifications. So it's a replica of the Old West Lever Action Rifle, and it's a pump action. So it does say on our website spring piston. It's not a spring piston. This is a pumper. So there's a little compression, tube in there. When you cock it, it pushes air into that tube. When you press the trigger, it releases the air. So on multi-pumps, every time you pump it, it pumps more air. With the spring piston, you just move that spring to the end and it stays there. You can't make it go any further than it's already gone. And so you will basically only have one piston that's got one power. With multi-pumps, you can regulate the power quite often by how many times you pump them. All right, so this does shoot 4.5 millimeter steel BBs and .177 caliber pellets. It does have a hopper in it. So I don't know if you show it to you over here real quick. So that's a hopper for loading BBs, okay? And you load up to 50 BBs in there so that when you do pump it that one time that it says you can pump it, you'll basically just pull back the cocking mechanism, which is like a bolt. As long as this is back here, so this is your safety, it's not actually a hammer, then you can fire it, okay? So that's kind of how this all works. With pellets, so when you load BBs, you have to load it upright, similar to like a Red Ryder would work. When you hold the Red Ryders, you got to hold the barrel up to get a BB in. Same thing with this gun. If you're going to load pellets and you have BBs in the hopper, you can actually load it pointed down and the BB won't go in, because when you have it pointed up, a BB comes down, drops in. It's got a little magnetic doohickey here. See that little piece there? So that'll just grab a BB and in she goes, okay? So point it down for pellets, point it up for BBs. Pretty straightforward. This gun weighs 4.1 pounds or 1,859 grams. It's 36 inches in length, 91.44 centimeters. Now, it does say online on our website, for some reason, it's got a 6-inch barrel. I think someone copied and pasted something from somewhere else. And then I've seen on other websites, it's got a 16-inch barrel. I measured it. It's got a slightly recessed barrel. I measured it from the slight recess to where the pellet goes in, and it was 18 inches. So I'm going to say it's got a close 17.5 to 18-inch barrel based on my measurements, and that's the real deal there. That's not something copied and pasted. And it's also got a rifled metal barrel. So I did look down. It's got a rifled metal steel or some sort of metal barrel. Not sure exactly what the construction of it is, but I'm going to say it's probably some sort of steel in there. It's not going to be a cheap metal. It does shoot claimed up to 350 to 400, so I'm assuming BBs might be slightly faster. The 400, the pellets may be 350. We'll find out when I do my field test shooting video. It is a single action trigger, so when you pull that bolt back, it cocks the internal hammer and allows you to pull the trigger, which is about 5 pounds. So 5-pound trigger pull. It feels good. It's pretty short. It's not too bad. So the trigger is acceptable, absolutely. The hammer acts as the safety again. So this is the safety, and you can see right on it, you got the little red. Let's see if we can get, there we go. You got the red there showing you it's fire, safe. Okay, pretty straightforward. And mostly plastic construction, but the barrel and the rear sight are metal. And of course the inner barrel, the outer barrel, all of that's metal. Now, it does have a post front sight, which is plastic. And the rear sight is basically adjustable for elevation. So you can bring it up or down if you're shooting high or low. Now this does have a slightly recessed barrel. Let's see if we can get in here and show you that. So it's slightly recessed, but not a ton, but enough to look like it. You know, it's got a larger caliber than the 4.5 millimeter that you're shooting, or the .177 caliber. And it is distributed by Barra, and it's made in China. Okay, so it does come in a nice little box here. Barra's done a nice job of making this box look half decent. It does talk a little bit about, so if I can read this, where is it, part that I was reading? Yeah, it talks about this Walter Hunt inventor. He invented the volition repeating rifle that used a complex system of mechanics and a lever to make it possible for marksmen to quickly fire a new type of ammunition. Hunt called this ammunition the rocket ball. So this is the kind of the inventor of this style of gun, but it's a little different than what you're seeing here. This is 1848. This is 1866. So some history on the box. Not too much in terms of specifications, just it says two times easier to pump than other lever actions. Metallic finish for a more authentic feel, or yeah, metallic finish. That's about it. It just says the caliber. It just says up to 350 feet per second with pellets. It says it's a junior. And then we have the manual. I'm just going to tell you kind of what's in it. Essentially, you know, I'll show you. Don't point it at your face and stuff. Don't, you know, how to use the pump handle. It talks about the steel, rifled steel barrel, open sights. What else does it talk? How to load it. Also talks about pointing the gun up there in that picture so that when you're loading it, and the safety position for when you're, you know, going to fire it, you don't want it to be on safe. So pretty basic stuff. You know, it's a pretty simple gun, really, at the end of the day. So let's get in nice and close here. I want to show you it nice and close because it is a pretty nice looking gun. Now it does have the screw holes on the one side, so it's a two-sided gun, and so the other side's actually gonna look better because you won't see these screw holes. But there again is your safety. Got the mirror finish. There's my camera right there. You've got this simulated wood grain stock. You've got a little plastic butt plate on here that says 1866. So I'll show you the lever and stuff later, but there's your rear sight, and it's adjustable. You can just pop it up on there. You got this metal band here, serial number, right? You've got, again, front sight plastic with the recessed barrel, octagon barrel that is metal, more wood grain on the front here. Okay, so you can see that the lever, the cocking mechanism, is this big long thing, and you got to go all the way up there. Squish it with your hand, pop it in. Sounds like you're breaking it, but you're not. Pull that cocking hammer back, make sure this is back, and there you go. Okay, let's do that one more time. There we go. That, for some reason, didn't have any air the first time. I don't know why. So, I mean, I have cocked it more than once. Okay, you got to have this back or it doesn't work. So that This has to be back all the way or it's not going to pressurize. At least that's what I'm seeing. Okay, I just pumped it 2 times, which it says not to do. So is it going to have a little more pop to it? Yeah, it does. To me, it sounded like it had a little more pop. So to me, it sounded like I put more pressure in the reservoir, the air reservoir, than with a single pump. So we're going to test that theory out when I do my field test shooting video, and I'm not going to pump it up 10 times like the non-junior version can. I don't want to destroy this thing, but I will pump it up 3 times and see what happens if it does increase in velocity. I'm not going to push it too hard. Again, I don't recommend you do that yourselves. I'm taking the risk for you. And I have had guns that pump multiple times that say, don't pump over X amount. Like the Zeraki, I forget what the pistol was called. It was a really nice pneumatic multi-pump, and you could only pump it up 3 times. And guys were pumping it more, and they were blowing out the valves inside the reservoir. So the reservoir was getting broken, and we had to keep ordering these reservoirs for them to replace them because they just couldn't take the pressure. So this may be the same case here. If you pump it more than once, you could be potentially damaging this gun. I can't tell you because like the non-junior version might have the exact same mechanism. I don't know. That one you can pump up 10 times and get 800 feet per second. I have no idea what this is capable of, but I would just recommend you go by what it says in the manual and only pump it the 1 time. This is just designed for plinking. You know, it's a junior gun. It's kind of more for kids. But that said, it does have a nice pull. It's got a short stock, so it's good, but I can line everything up really nicely on these sights. It just lines up nicely. I can see everything. So even for an adult, you're going to have no problem using the sights and using this gun, even though it's a little shorter and it's designed for youth. Okay, I didn't really show you the other side too much, did I? I think I got around to that. So let's do that. It's pretty much the same as the other side, but pop, come on, you can do it. Focus. Sometimes cameras don't like to focus. There we go. Okay, I just wanted to show you. You can see the barrel a little bit, the inner barrel there, a little more in that way. Okay, so you do have some writing on there, different stuff. I'm not even sure what it says. It says Barra on this side. You got the serial number made in China on this side. It looks like you got, what do you got here? Oh, it says pull back, lift, 5 pump, 6 disengage. So it just got information on how to use it. That's kind of good. So here we go. You've got the rear hammer, that's the safety, your trigger, right? Okay, I'm not sure if I showed you this up nice and close, but this is the area in there. We'll get in there, you can see what's going on. Okay, so I think, you know, that's probably given you a good idea what this gun's all about, what it looks like up nice and close. Generally speaking, I'm gonna go over the pros and the cons. What do we got here? Yeah, so pros and cons. Let's do that now. It's super easy to pump. So it's one of these, and they talk about how it's 2 times easier to pump. For sure, super easy to pump. Fit and finish is actually quite nice. Like, it looks good. The gold, I think it looks good. It's a nice looking gun. If you're a kid and this is your first gun, I'm sure you'd be really happy with it. In terms of realism, it does look like a more compact lever action rifle for the most part. Covers all the, you know, all the check marks in terms of replica. Maybe a little smaller, but there's definitely some small, you know, lever action rifles out there, like some of the Henry 22s, which I own one. Those are kind of cool. And it can shoot either BBs or pellets. Pellets, you're gonna have to load them individually. One of the cons I'll be talking about is a little harder to load them in because you gotta get in there pretty small. The guy from Barra is actually saying use tweezers, but who carries tweezers around? So when I actually do my field test, I'll actually see what it's like, and I'll comment on that when I do that, how hard it is to load. BBs just fall into place if the barrel's up. So if you got 50 BBs in there, you can just pump, shoot, pump, shoot. With pellets, you're gonna have to load them individually. All right, and then it's got that metal octagon outer barrel, which adds some additional weight. It's about about 4.1 pounds. Feels okay in the hand, really. It's not too bad. And that rear sight is also metal, and it's adjustable for elevation. So windage, you're gonna have to eyeball it a little bit. Hopefully yours shoots pretty close to the bullseye. The trigger pull is decent. As I showed you, it's not crazy long. It's fairly light. It's about 5 pounds. It's totally acceptable, but it's not going to go off accidentally. This being a junior gun for kids, you know, younger people, maybe first-time shooters, you don't want that trigger to be too sensitive. And recessed barrel adds some realism there and makes it look like it's got a larger caliber barrel than a BB, little opening of the BB gun. And again, it's made for kids, but that shoulder pull length and the sight placement works for adults just fine, so don't be too concerned about that. And the gold receiver, I think, looks really good. Would chrome look good on this gun too? Sure. Gold, oftentimes, gold is best. I think this gun really looks good in gold with that dark brown walnut stock or simulated wood. All right, some of the cons, it's mostly plastic, so you know, if it had more metal, maybe a metal lever and maybe some heavier wood grain, actual wood have been cool. But that would have made the cost go up. Would it change anything else, you know, how good the gun works or how it functions? No. So that's just basically something that you could add, but would cost more money. And again, that manual says 1 pump, which is different from the non-junior version, which is 10 pumps, 800 feet per second. So I don't know what that's all about. Again, I'm going to find out what 3 pumps will do, if it's going to blow this thing up, if it's going to increase velocity. I'm not going to go nuts and pump it like 10 times or even 5 times, but we'll try 3 times just to see if it actually increases at all and if it, you know, can handle it, at least for this little short review that I'll be doing, the field test. And again, those pellets are hard to load, especially if you have larger hands and big sausage fingers like some people do. I don't have too crazy sausage fingers, but I got bigger palms, so it's a little hard holding onto those little pellets, and my hands are getting a little shakier, so it's going to probably be a little bit of a chore getting those in there. We'll see. That's it. Okay, so stay posted for my field test shooting video. Looking forward to shooting this gun. I hear it's pretty accurate, so hopefully it is. Rifled barrel with pellets. Should shoot okay. All right, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check out the links, replica.airguns.ca, replica.airguns.us. To buy it, I'll put links for both of those stores. And if you're interested in other products, air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories, check out replica.airguns.ca for Canada and replica.airguns.us for the US. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, take care.